Hi, I'm Sarah Blasko and you're watching Noise11.
I'm going
Welcome to Noise11. We are sitting down with the lovely Sarah Blasko, the lovely and talented Sarah Blasko, we'll call you. You've just prepared, you're just about to release I Awake, new album.
Yeah.
You said that almost killed you, or it might have killed you.
Yeah, I think it did almost kill me. I think it was a pretty big undertaking, this album. I think...
Where's the moment where you realised you probably bitten off more than you could chew?
I think it actually was the moment where I'd sort of gotten the go-ahead to record with the orchestra and produce it myself and all of that kind of thing. And there was just that moment where I thought, you know, of absolute sheer terror where I just thought, maybe I can't actually do this, and I've just convinced all of these people that I can. And yeah, and then I had another moment where it was like when we got to Bulgaria and started working with the orchestra, and there's 60 people sitting down in front of you, and that was super exciting. So it wasn't like terrifying in the same kind of way, but there were definite moments where I thought this is too big for me. I don't know quite what I'm doing, but I'm really glad that I took that step and did something that really terrified me, because I think I'm happy with the results. It's like I can hear the terror or something, but in a really positive way.
No, that's right. Although I thought that it might have been more acute, because you wrote the album in Brighton, England. You were by yourself, yes, pretty much?
Yeah.
So diving into that by yourself without having anyone to, talk to back you up on it or sound it out might have been a bit scary. And I just thought it would be strange to spend that time in your own head for so long by yourself, and then go into a studio and you had players on the thing, and then you had the 52-piece Bulgarian orchestra. Was it a big mindset change when you were bringing the songs to these people and going, ooh, what are they going to think of all this?
Yeah, it definitely was a mindset change, but I'm really thankful for that very quiet period that I had for quite an extended time when I was in Brighton, because I think that's sort of what propelled the whole thing. I mean, I think if I hadn't have had that sort of very reflective time, the whole record would have been very different. But yeah, it's a total mind shift from just things starting out in this really humble way, but and then it just takes on a whole other life. But it's funny, when I started writing them though, I was kind of immediately thinking about an orchestra, as crazy as that, and sort of like over the top as that sounds. But I was very much interested in the idea of contrasts, of having this really fragile instrument like a ukulele on the one end of the spectrum, and then having this beast of an orchestra on the other hand. So it was sort of always lurking in my mind, but yeah. Yeah,
look, I saw a couple of little activities you were doing when you were by yourself, going out and seeing movies and seeing Klaus Kinski going bananas and all that sort of stuff. Your film and lit degree, obviously. And I'm hearing a lot more cinematic sounds on this. In fact, I saw on some notation on the sheet music, what did it say? Like an old Hollywood movie. Did a lot of film get into this one? Because it sounds like it did.
Yeah, that's definitely, sort of an obvious reference point for me in terms of when I think of orchestration. There's a lot of pop music that has a lot of strong orchestration as well, but I've always wanted to do a song with a Hollywood ending, and the song here on the record, we just went all out. We just, but it's weird that, I wanted to have elements of those kinds of really Hollywood kind of sounds, but I also wanted it to be quite sort of stark and modern at the same time. I don't even know what modern means exactly, but I sort of I wanted to, sort of similar to how I felt about the last record, I wanted there to be some sort of little nods to things from other times, but I wanted the listener to feel like they weren't quite sure what time they were in, a bit of a dream world in a sense. So I sort of had similar feelings with this album. But then there was a whole range of influences from, I really like the way that Serge Gainsbourg uses strings in his music, and it's like maximum impact. So it's like you have this band on the one hand, and then you have this, when the orchestra comes in, it's just like they're right in. They're not just kind of like lurking there the whole time. It's just, and then like a song like Avalanche by Leonard Cohen, the strings are kind of terrifying when they come in, and I wanted it to be like that. Sounds
like there's a lot of fear and terror on this record.
Yeah, it was time for a bit of that. Yeah, I think.
Now, other things I noticed when I saw bits and pieces around the studio, like I was there. No, I've been stalking you, obviously. Frida Kahlo was sitting on your lyric sheet. What was that for photo of that? What was she meant to bring out?
I think honesty. I think Frida Kahlo somehow is. I find her an inspiring character.
Just an iconoclast.
Yeah,
really.
yeah, just amazing artist, and someone that always poured her own identity into what she did, and it was often very much about working herself out and about being a woman and her illnesses and all of those things. And so when I see pictures of her, I feel like it's a very honest face. And so I wanted to have pictures of people around me that made me feel something, or because I think that it helps you to pull yourself out of your kind of internal world, but to sort of see something reflected at you that you want to kind of, just some essence that you want to convey. And I think that, for me, she's a really strong kind of character. But then there's I had pictures of like Nina Simone, but I think all very honest women seemed really important to me for some reason but I think it really helped, actually. I think the delivery in a lot of songs was really helped by looking at those faces.
I would never have realised that. No, sure,
yeah,
why
I'm
not?
feeling like a weirdo for doing it now, but
I
but yeah, I don't know, it just took me into another like world. I don't know.
Oh,
I just tried it,
Yeah, you seem to have a lot more control over this record, even by producing it yourself as well.
Yeah.
You said you got the go-ahead. Did the label say, okay,
well,
at least we'll save some cash? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It takes a little while, I suppose, to...
I
mean, you sort of have to convince someone, I suppose, that you're up for the job, and, you know... But
that was also getting the confidence of having albums under your belt and kind of being in the studio a bit, and you're like, I can do this. Yeah, well,
to start with, I was wanting to work with Bjorn, who I made the last record with, and he listened to all the demos, and we were talking for months, but we just couldn't make it work time-wise. But it was funny, as soon as he said, no, I'm really sorry, I can't do it, I kind of instantly, it's like I actually knew that was going to happen, and I knew instantly that it just felt really right for me to do it myself, and that it was actually kind of the right time to do that. And I'd already done quite a bit of demoing with the drummer and the bass player, and I had a pretty clear idea already of what I wanted to achieve, like just very simple instrumentation with the band, and then, like I said, just this massive orchestration on the other end of the spectrum. So.
Yeah, well, you were the boss. You had to go into the orchestra and go, all right, this is what I want you to do. Or you have an arranger as well, didn't you?
No, well, you have a conductor who, luckily, he spoke Bulgarian. so
did he speak English?
He did.
Good.
He did,
yeah. Right. That was also essential, yeah.
Yeah. And then I had, my friend Nick Wales did the arrangements. And so, we were... collaborated on that a lot, but then when it came down to really talking about the charts, I don't actually even I'm not formally trained in music, so I just go by my ear, and they were all just, it's amazing to watch an orchestra. They're just literally reading and playing. It's just like someone reading out a book, and I find that really crazy in my mind because I've always just done it by ear. So
What was it like? Because you're only actually singing with them on one song, right?
well, yeah, that was the only one I did live, in Bulgaria. Everything else we'd recorded in Sweden first, and then they were playing along to the recordings. So
Right,
yeah.
that would have been pretty overwhelming.
Yeah.
Singing with an orchestra.
Yeah, I was talking to someone about it yesterday, and I think they put it really well, that it's like singing with a whale. It feels like this really peaceful, huge beast that you're kind of trying to sort of stay in with, but you just feel so... it's really strange. It's like it's so different to any other music experience I've had before with playing with a band, or it's really strange.
This is the question though. You're going to have to bring them on tour, right?
Yeah, yeah. I am going to do a tour with an orchestra, but unfortunately, I don't think I can bring the Bulgarian Symphony Orchestra.
I think
over,
we have a couple of orchestras here.
Yeah, I think we've got some people who are.
Yeah, we can grab a few.
Who are good enough. Yeah.
Right. Now, as I mentioned to you before, because I've been stalking you, obviously, you're playing a gig in LA in November. How is that going to work? Are you going to get the LA orchestra, or are you going to try these songs by themselves and by yourself?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's great when you sort of feel like you start a song very simply and then you add all of this crazy stuff on top, and then you go back and play it in a very simple way, like when it started. And I mean, I sort of think that, yeah, you should be able to play a song anyway that you want, and that it hopefully will work in that sense because you've sort of tested it out in an early stage. But the show in LA is just going to be very stripped back, like just literally like piano and voice kind of thing. And so I'm not really, it's not sort of like a proper tour or anything like that.
No?
But,
what about the proper tour? When does that happen?
Well, the proper tour here will be next year. Yeah.
Oh, we have to wait till the new year.
Yeah, but it'll be very exciting and it'll be worth the wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Look, well, that's good. Everyone can wait, and that's exciting. One thing I want to finally ask you: there's the deluxe package for the album. There's a book in it.
Yeah.
What is in that book?
It's a mystery. It's a.
What, don't you even know?
No,
I just signed
do.
the cover and sent it off. Right?
Yeah, that's right. It's got photos and it's got the lyrics. There's 2 different kinds of vinyl going on in there. There's like a vinyl full, length album, and then there's some a 7-inch of some unreleased songs that I recorded at the same time as I
but
made
that didn't
the
fit
album.
in the album properly.
Yeah, I kind of ended up with too much material, which was a nice thing, and so and it's in a beautiful cover. It's like a sort of a big art book kind of vibe. It looks quite impressive, I think.
I guess people have to do this now, and that's of course the only way to experience it, right?
Yeah,
you won't get
absolutely.
the full experience unless you got the book in front of you.
You definitely won't. Yeah. It's a good conversation starter, I think.
Yeah.
Or a good coffee table book, something like that.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming in. Thanks for the album as well. It's pretty epic.
Yeah.